Bob and Helen Crow bought the farm. In 1950 they renovated the farmhouse and moved on to the farm. And the farm kind of evolved from vegetable farming, hog farming, to eventually a dairy farm. And that's when I kind of came into being, was in the 70s after college, came back here to the farm and milked cows on the farm for 23 years. Oh. Well, I think like any teenager, especially maybe a teenager in Kent County, you say, okay, oh, I'm going to go out and see the world a little bit. But once I got out, I was ready to come back. And the realization was at College Park that I didn't want to be around that many people all the time. So that's when the farm became an integral part of my life. Once I sold the cows, went out and worked in another business. Part of my most of my insurance is dealing with farms and farm operations, and seeing how other farming operations are doing much of what we're moving towards and are successful at it, that I think we can do it as well. And I think where we're located in Kent County and on the Mid-Atlantic East Coast, we're an hour and a half from three major metropolitan areas, and we can draw people here. Milking cows part, no, I'm not nostalgic at all about that. I mean, it's a young man's occupation, and I'm beyond the young man stage. So, I think now, but what we're doing, I think we're heading in the right direction.
I think probably my attitudes and behaviors about family and raising my children and eating healthily and making sure that, you know, the values that we learned as a child on the farm, I sort of carried that over into not only my career was in early childhood education, but in my just daily living. So I think I probably have always had a inkling for animals, you know, even though it was cats and dogs, you know, when I was raising my kids or something like that. I've always had a disposition towards wanting to spend time with animals and children and being out in open space. I think when you're allowed to be out in open space, it allows you to be more free and to express yourself more openly. You're not in the confines of others scrutinizing your behaviors. So, you know, an example is every morning when I go down, I have a different song for whatever animal I'm taking care of. And, you know, that's certainly not something I would do when I go to a business meeting, address folks with, you know, a certain song of some sort. But, you know, the freedom to express yourself, the freedom to be able to take care of your family, be able to enjoy good food and live healthily is, you know, very important to me. When Roy brought me to the farm, and we did our dating here at the farm, so, you know, we would spend a lot of time in the fields or on the tractor, you know, or messing around with the cattle or dreaming how we wanted to do things here on the farm. It became evident that if this farm, at least to me, if it was going to breathe a new life and be attractive to bring younger generations back to the farm, then we had to make some changes, because even though I loved it and it was beautiful, corn and soybeans is primarily, and some hay is what he was doing, and a few beef cattle. That just, you know, that wasn't intriguing for some younger folk to come back and help support us working the farm. So that's when we started learning about growing grapes in Maryland, and, you know, we went to a few seminars that were free, and we walked away saying, man, I think we can do this. People who come here somehow have a farm in their roots. Maybe they didn't work the farm, but they had a grandmother who had a farm. There's always a story that they tell me about something about the farm. So what this place does for them is reunites them with their memories. And there's that connection that they have with the earth and the animals. That's, I think, what they take away from here. This is probably the hardest that I have worked in my life. We get up at 5:30 and it's 9 o'clock and I'm still finishing up something to go to bed. And Roy's the same way and Brandon's the same way. You know, it really does take a lot. But it's fun. It's so rewarding, and people are so appreciative. You know, they love everything we do for them when they come here and visit. And I think when we get our winery open, we're going to feel the same satisfaction. I think it's going to be a good product. We have a great winemaker. And I think that people will be very satisfied and want to keep coming back.
I guess 3 years ago, the idea of starting a winery in a vineyard out here started to get passed around between Roy and Judy, and they kind of brought me into the conversation. And I saw it as a really unique opportunity. I would never be able to do this in any other fashion. You know, I couldn't go out to California and get this job. I just couldn't do it anywhere else. And so it gave me a really unique opportunity to kind of get involved in the farm. It's something different for the area. We're going to be the first winery in Kent County. And it's a challenge. It's something different. There are a few people growing grapes in the area, but I kind of enjoyed the challenge of it and doing something different and unique. The area can produce a multitude of things, and that's the whole point of local foods movement, is you can produce more than just corn and soybeans. And I think that that's what I'd want people to take away from. And that's kind of what I want people to take away from the experience of coming out to the farm and learning that there is more to, you know, a farm than just, you know, a tractor out in the field. There's always a unique dynamic working with family. You have to, certain days you have to treat them as family, and certain days you have to treat them as business partners. And it's a balance. It's a balancing act. But I wouldn't have it any other way. All of us have to pitch in to make this work. And I think that's the key to running a family farm or any family business. We all have to pitch in and do things, one, that we may not want to do, or that just when we need an extra hand, someone has to pitch in. I love Kent County. I love working outside, being part of the landscape. Yeah, it's truly enjoyable.